Hello and welcome to the Sibatec Logbook. This logbook is designed to run on a 10-inch Samsung or Sony 3G, 4G tablet. We will now go over the functionalities of the logbook. Firstly, press the truck icon, which should be located on the front screen of your tablet. Once pressed, it will bring up the Transport Management application menu, which has 5 buttons: Start New Logbook Form, Logbook Reports, Pre-Start Checklist, Pre-Start Checklist Reports, Settings. We will now go over what each of these buttons represent once they are pressed. The first button on the main menu is Start New Logbook Form. Press on Start New Logbook Form. The logbook page will appear. The top left-hand corner has the Cancel button to return to the main menu. On the far right-hand side is the page number, which is 10003 for this instance. Left of this is the Information button, which has the orange circle with an eye. When this is pressed, it will show you the information for using the logbook from the NZTA website. Under this section is the driver's license number and name, which is permanently fixed once the product is registered for use, and the start time and date. This start time will either show noon or midnight as required under the legislation. Under this are 4 buttons, the titles of which will change during the operation of the logbook. Button 1 is black. This is the Start and Finish button. Button 2 is red. This is the Drive button. Button 3 is green. This is the Start Rest button. Button 4 is blue. This is the Stop Drive Stop Rest button. The changing of the names on the black and blue buttons depends on what action you are taking on the logbook. Beneath these 4 buttons are 4 circles, the first being the clock, which shows the current time. The other 3 will colour shade the amount of time they are used during a work period. Beneath the 4 circles are the actual start time and finish time for that period. After this comes the body of the logbook, which has 6 columns: hours, rest time, work time, location and remarks, registration-driven vehicle, record for vehicles subject to RUC. During the operation of the logbook, entries will be colour-coded to match the buttons pressed: red for driving, green for rest period, blue for non-driving duties, black for added notes. Below the body of the logbook are 4 boxes. The first box shows the end of the last 24-hour break. The date when that took place will show there. The second box shows work time today. This will show the current time worked in this logbook period. The third box shows plus previous total. This will show the hours and minutes of previous logbooks since the last 24-hour break. And the final box shows the total of boxes 2 and 3. Beneath these 4 boxes is the current speed box, which will register the speed the truck is travelling. This is not to be used as a speedometer. It is used as once you have reached 10 kilometres, no entries can be made on the logbook. Beside the speed box is the yellow Add Remarks button. This is used to make entries in the logbook related to this work period. For example, the NZTA permit number for extended hours, or to notify of a long hold-up on the road that has forced an extension of your work time to get back to base. To the right of this is the yellow Previous Logbook Records button. When pressed, it will take you back to all the records held on your logbook. The same as you get from the logbook report on the main menu, which we will now go into. The second button on the main menu is Logbook Reports. This will give up to your last 30 entries. At the top left-hand corner is the Back button, which will take you back to the main menu. Below are 4 columns: Driver's Name, which is the same name as on the logbook; Logbook ID, this is the page number; Date, this is the date of that page number when the logbook was recorded; Remarks. If it has an asterisk showing, this indicates that this page has had notes entered on it after the logbook was closed off. When any of the page numbers is pressed, that logbook will appear. Finally, on the bottom right-hand corner is the Police Request button. This is used for the police to request copies of logbooks back to the last 24-hour break. The third button is the Pre-Start Checklist. When pressed, 4 options will appear. 1. Vehicle. 2. Trailer. 3. Semi-trailer. 4. B-train. When one of these options is pressed, the pre-start checklist for that configuration will appear. There is a full list of items to be checked with a Yes/No button. These are color-coded, green for yes and red for no. A full video on how to operate the pre-start checklist is found on this website. The 4th button on the main menu is the pre-start checklist reports. When pressed, it will bring up all the pre-start checklist with 4 headings: date, registration number, fleet number, driver. Press on the column of the report you wish to review and it will show the full report. The final button on the main menu is Settings. When pressed, the Settings page will appear with registration number, expiry date, renew license, update driver's details. When the Renew License button is pushed, a box appears for the receipt number and license type 6 or 12 months. This is used to renew the use of the logbook program. Update Driver's Details button is used to change the driver on this logbook. This should only be used if you are replacing a driver on a permanent basis. Remember, the Cancel button in these programs is there to take you back to where you came from. For full user logbook tutorial, see our Logbook User Guide video on this website.